Dear class, welcome to Wenzhou University. Today, the topic we are going to learn is the inheritance and protection of China's intangible cultural heritages. Let's first learn some new words. 遗产 heritage 遗产文化遗产 cultural heritage 文化遗产物质 material 物质非物质文化遗产 non-material cultural heritage or non-intangible cultural heritage 非物质文化遗产传承 inheritance 传承保护 protection 保护 And topic we are going to learn is 中国非物质文化遗产的传承与保护 One more time 中国非物质文化遗产的传承与保护 In the long history of civilization, mankind has created countless rich and colorful cultural heritages, which constitute the glamorous charm of civilization. Together with natural heritages, cultural heritages forge rich and diverse forms of human existence and constitute the integrity of human civilization. However, the rapid development of modern industrialization, the impact of the global economic integration wars, and other human factors and natural disasters have caused the destruction of these heritages to different degrees in many areas of the world. People come to realize that without the concept of the common heritage of mankind, without proper inheritance and protection of the outstanding cultural and natural heritages in different parts of the world, but allow them to be destroyed and die out instead, it will be a great loss to mankind that can never be redeemed. Therefore, 联合国教科文组织 United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO 联合国的 UN 教 Education 科 Science 文 Culture 组织 Organization altogether 联合国教科文组织Read one more time with me. 联合国教科文组织 In 1972, UNESCO launched the World Cultural Heritage Program. Program in Chinese is 项目世界文化遗产项目世界文化遗产项目 Since then, mankind began to pay attention to the cultural heritage of different nationalities on the same earth. Cultural heritage at that time was called physical heritage. 物质遗产 also known as tangible heritage. 有形遗产including historical heritages such as the Great Wall of China, historical heritage, 历史遗产 遗产 and natural heritage such as 丹霞 landform. Natural heritage. 自然遗产自然遗产 In November 1972, in the 7th session of the World Heritage Committee held in Paris, UNESCO passed a convention concerning the protection of the world culture and natural heritage, which is often referred to as the Convention of the World Heritage. Convention in Chinese is 公约公约 So the Convention of World Heritage is called 世界遗产公约世界遗产公约 In 1985, China joined the Convention of World Heritage and became a state party. So far, it has 56 cultural and natural heritage included in World Heritage List. List in Chinese is 名录名录世界遗产名录 The non-written and oral folk cultural heritages and the living heritages that still exist today is also the symbol as well as the source of life for the existence of a nation, which is called intangible heritage by UNESCO. Intangible, 无形无形无形遗产无形遗产 When the tide of economic development reaches each region, a drastic change in material consumption mode and the survival concept ensues, which leads to the sudden extinction and change of the local cultural traditions of many nationalities. It seems that the world is developing towards the same mode of economy and the material and the same value concept, while different cultures, religions, ethical feelings, customs, and values are being ignored or dominated by strong cultures. Thus, in November 1999, in the 30th session of the World Heritage Committee, UNESCO adopted a resolution to establish the list of masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, which in Chinese is called 人类口头和非物质遗产代表名录 One more time, 人类口头和非物质遗产代表作名录 To make up for the defects of lacking intangible cultural heritages in the Convention of World Heritage of 1972. Nearly 30 years after the launch of the Program of World Heritage, UNESCO announced in May of 2001 the world's first batch of 19 items included in the list of masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, among which 4 are from Asia, and the Chinese Kunqu was included. On October 17, 2003, the 32nd session of the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO passed the Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage, which makes a clear definition of intangible cultural heritage, the practices, representations, expressions, knowledge, skills, as well as the instruments, objects, artifacts, and cultural spaces associated therewith that communities, groups, and in some cases, individuals recognize as part of their cultural heritage. This intangible cultural heritage, transmitted from generation to generation, is constantly recreated by communities and groups in response to their environment, their interaction with nature and their history, and provides them with sense of identity and continuity. thus promoting respect for cultural diversity and human creativity. China became a state party to the Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2006 and adopted the law of the People's Republic of China on Intangible Cultural Heritage, beginning to form its own Intangible Cultural Heritage protection system. Article 2 of the law provides intangible cultural heritage shall mean various traditional cultural manifestations which are handed down by the people of all ethnics from the generation to generation and regarded as the constituent part of their cultural heritage, and physical objects and premises related to the traditional cultural manifestation. There are 5 specific manifestations of intangible cultural heritage, and they are: the first, traditional oral literature and language, 传统口头文学及语言，传统口头文学及语言。Second, traditional fine arts, calligraphy and performing arts, 传统美术、书法和表演艺术，传统美术、书法和表演艺术。Third, traditional rituals, festivals and other folk customs, 传统礼仪、节庆等民俗，传统礼仪、节庆等民俗。Fourth, traditional artistry, medicine and calendar, 传统技艺、医药和历法，传统技艺、医药和历法。Number 5, traditional sports and entertainment, 传统体育和游艺，传统体育和游艺。Here one more time, let's learn the word tradition. 传统，传统。The establishment of the list. To protect intangible cultural heritage, the first step is to identify what they are. Therefore, the establishment of protection lists is another way of protection in addition to legislative protection. Under the protection law, government along with the experts started to conduct general survey, classification, sorting, and filing of all intangible cultural heritage projects. Systemize, digitize, and archive the survey results, and strengthen the recording and preservation of intangible cultural heritage resources data. On this basis, we set up a 4-level intangible cultural heritage protection list system at national, provincial, city, and county levels, according to the scientific evaluation standards. The State Council published 5 batches of the National Intangible Cultural Heritage lists in respectively 2006, 2008, 2011, 2014, and 2021, totaling 1,557 masterpieces items with a total of 3,610 sub-items. Productive protection in Chinese is called 生产性保护，生产性保护。For intangible cultural heritage, productive protection is an effective way for the traditional skills to be viable, with the state and the local governments providing necessary legal, policy, and financial support. The full restoration of some lost skills becomes possible. Meanwhile, rebuilding the original production process by scientific means achieves the goal of inheritance and protection. Through years' efforts of productive protection, a large number of intangible cultural heritage items have been reborn from the verge of loss to revival in the market. In this way, not only the enthusiasm of inheritors is mobilized, but also the cultural consumption of ordinary people is driven and the community economy is promoted. Here, let's learn a new word, inheritor, 传承人. 传承人. An intangible heritage inheritor, 非遗传承人. 非遗传承人. Educational protection, 教育保护. 教育保护. In the protection of intangible cultural heritage, the role of education is irreplaceable and fundamental, and it's the source of vitality for the inheritance and intangible cultural heritages. The state has taken a series of measures to open up various educational channels to inherit and protect valuable intangible cultural heritages. The first is to educate and train the inheritors of intangible cultures. That's right, the inheritors also need to learn and to be trained. The development of history has blurred the process of many skills. It is in the training session, research and discussion of our inheritors that the full picture of some skills can be gradually revealed and restored. In addition, inheritors, though have the traditional skills, are often unclear about the historical and cultural value of the skills they have. The government has organized a large number of experts in folk customs, art, and history to sort out the spiritual core of intangible cultural heritages, thus to provide more theoretical basis for inheritance and protection. Educational protection is also reflected in the inclusion of intangible cultural heritage education into the national education system. Relevant contents of intangible cultural heritage protection are contained in primary and secondary school courses, such as Chinese, history, geography, and politics. The local intangible cultural heritage protection base has become the extra class for primary and secondary schools, where students can go beyond books to experience the charm of tradition, skills. Let's turn our focus to Zhejiang province, where Wenzhou is located. As one of the birthplaces of Chinese civilization, a fair place for outstanding personalities and talents, Zhejiang has created a long and splendid history and culture, which includes both a physical cultural heritage and equally valuable intangible cultural heritage. For thousands of years, they have been handed down from generation to generation, thriving through times. These intangible cultural heritages are the sentiment of Zhejiang excellent history and are the precious cultural wealth and Zhejiang people are proud of. As a comprehensive pilot of the state intangible cultural heritage protection, Zhejiang province started its intangible cultural heritage protection work very early, took practical measures and invested heavily to cover a wide range of protection, which has achieved fruitful results. Over the past 10 years, the province has verified the living environment, regional distribution, types and quantities, and protection status of heritage resources, improved the file management, established a database, and compiled a protection directory. From the histogram below, it can be seen that there are tens of thousands of intangible cultural heritage items at all levels listed in Zhejiang Province Protection List, among which folklore literature is the one with the largest number. The Zhejiang provincial government has invested substantial capital to form a collaborative promotion mechanism for intangible cultural heritage protection. It has established 127 comprehensive intangible cultural heritage museums above the county level, with an annual number of visitors exceeding 11.5 million, and 276 special intangible cultural heritage museums above the county level, attracting 22.7 million visitors annually, and another 1,026 intangible cultural heritage exhibition halls at the township and village levels. In addition, a series of intangible cultural heritage protection bases have been named. There are plenty of chances for the international students of Wenzhou University to experience Wenzhou intangible cultural heritage. We can drink the tea that is picked and brewed by ourselves. We can watch the making of indigo and dye t-shirts for ourselves. We can put on costumes and sing old opera to feel the primitive charm of thousand opera. Hopefully, every one of you in front of the screen can come to Wenzhou and join our team to experience the intangible cultural heritage of the city. So, for today's class, about the intangible cultural heritage, what have we learned? Let's review a bit. 遗产，遗产，文化遗产，文化遗产，非物质文化遗产，非物质文化遗产，传承，传承，保护，保护，联合国教科文组织，联合国教科文组织，物质遗产，物质遗产，有形遗产，有形遗产，无形遗产，无形遗产，历史遗产，历史遗产，自然遗产，自然遗产，公约，公约，名录，名录，昆曲，昆曲，传统，传统，生产，生产，教育，教育，传承人，传承人。好了，我们今天的课就到这里。Hello， 拜拜。